John Da Silva, and welcome to my channel, John Da Silva Photography. I've been photographing for about 50 years, which is a sobering thought. So some of you might be thinking, what does this old guy know? What can he teach me about photography? Let me give you a little history. I attended the Southeast Center for Photographic Studies over in Daytona Beach, Florida. I also attended Crealde School of Art in Winter Park. And for the last 12 years, I've been a photographer in Disney's Fine Art Photography department. So between education and experience, hopefully I can pass on some tips, tricks, and shortcuts to help you with your photography. Now, I love wildlife and travel photography. I was just able to visit my seventh continent, Antarctica, and loved it. Hopefully you know what you love. And if not, maybe these videos will help you determine what you love in photography. Now, if anybody visits Orlando, or if you know someone who needs a photographer in Orlando, hit me up in the comments section and maybe I can help you. Welcome to today's video. We're going to be covering your gear and its care and some aspects of composition today. So let's start with your gear. Whether you've purchased consumer level or professional level gear, you spent some good money on this gear, the camera body, the lenses, everything that comes with your camera. Obviously, you want to keep this camera out of the heat. Don't leave it in the trunk of your car, in sun. This will be detrimental to your camera gear, lenses, and camera body. So you always want to store your camera in a closet, in a dark space, not humid, fairly dry. There's a lot of electronics in today's cameras. You want to keep it in a safe, dark, dry place. Your lenses are similar. You want to keep them stored in a very safe place, also where they won't break. Glass is very fragile, as we know, and you want to keep it safe. So always store your gear in a safe place. If you have children, make sure they're away from little hands, and keep them away from moisture. Moisture can absolutely destroy both the electronics in your camera body and your lenses, because if you get mold growing inside your lenses, which can happen from dampness, condensation, it's very expensive to fix or replace. So you want to take really good care of your gear when you're at home. Now, when you're traveling, it's pretty much the same. You don't want to use your camera standing in the ocean shooting waves. I've made that mistake before and got my camera wet. It wasn't a good result. So you have to be careful. Learn from others' mistakes. Sand is also, and dust is also a detrimental, has detrimental effects on your gear. And also, so you use a rain sleeve to keep your camera free from water and dust. Now, composition. I spoke a little bit about composition in earlier videos. Today's, I'm gonna touch on orientation and color versus black and white. Now, when people make photographs, they always tend to hold the camera the same way. Landscape, where you get the orientation, you get more information from left to right than you get from top to bottom. But a lot of subjects, people, anything that's more like this, trees, people, more orientated like a tall skyscrapers, you want to turn that camera into what we call portrait or vertical orientation, because it's more conducive to get the subject filling the frame with the subject. So don't forget, you can always turn your camera, or if you have a battery grip, it's much easier to do that with a battery grip. And you can also get some, somewhere in between. Sometimes those tilts are really effective depending on what your subject is. Don't always just shoot the same way. It's boring, it's repetitive, and it doesn't engage the viewer. So make sure you're changing the orientation of your camera when the occasion fits. Now, black and white versus color photography, or I shouldn't say versus, it's not that they're competitive. But sometimes now, after making photographs for all these years, I can walk up to a scene And in my mind, right away, that scene is screaming, oh, this would look fantastic or will look fantastic in black and white. So keep that in mind. Today, we have the good fortune of keeping our cameras in color and not having to make any adjustments to black and white. Back in the old film days, I would have numerous backs, especially when I was doing medium format photography. I would have one back which contained film that had color print film. Then I'd have another back that had color slide film. Then I'd have another back that had black and white, and so on and so on. And you would have to change if you wanted these different forms of film. So today we have the luxury of basically staying the same on all of our electronic digital cameras, just shooting color, and later on through free software or any of the number of the paid softwares that you can purchase, and you can desaturate your color photograph to make it black and white. But always remember that you do have that option to vary it up. Even portraits, some beautiful portraits can be made in black and white. So always remember, there's sometimes that there are way more choices than you're aware of. So keep these in mind. Black and white, color, portrait orientation, landscape orientation. So that's today's discussion. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any comments, please leave them down below, and I'll see you next time on the next video.